Okay, let's think positive, shall we? Hey there, Enterprisers, what's good? It's Jason Ligo here again, and in this video I want to talk to you about how you can build a positive mindset. That's right, how to build a positive mindset, all right? Positive thinking seems to be everywhere and anywhere that you look, especially if you're in the online training, personal development, or success training fields. It's just the thing to make sure that you listen to. And it's important, it certainly is. Now, if you've been following me for any amount of time, you know that I am the furthest thing from a power of positive thinking guy. You know this to be true. The fact of the matter is I spend a great deal of time almost antagonizing those who would make positive thinking and positive outlook and mindset training the be-all end-all of your success in business, right? It seems like there's this big crowd of folks who think that just because you think positive, basically that's going to make the difference in your business and make money fall out of the sky, okay? Now, obviously, I don't believe that that's true, and I'm sure that I'm exaggerating here a little bit, but I think you know what I'm saying. I am just not the biggest proponent of mindset means everything and mindset makes the difference. However, it is important. And so in this video, I want to share with you some of the ways that I like to keep a positive mindset, because I really believe that keeping a positive mindset, while not necessarily is a power of positive thinking type rule, it does help to be positive. And I find that, you know, if I'm going to spend my time being any particular way, let's be positive rather than negative, because I want positive results. And one does seem to follow the other. Okay, so with that said, let me just give you 3 very simple ways on how you can build and keep a positive mindset. Let's jump right into it. Number 1, identify negative self-talk. Identify negative self-talk. Now, you may not realize it, but a lot of negative effects that happen to you are also happened by you and caused by you. There's a lot of negative self-talk and a lot of negative thinking that takes place without you may not even knowing it, all right? But maybe these are some things that if you would be careful to look at them and identify them, you can kind of pick them out and work on getting them out of your life. There are several different habits that one will do to themselves that really is not helping them and not serving them, so much so that it is a negative detriment to their mind, their soul, their body even, okay? If you are negative, it's been shown to have, lasting effects even into your health, okay? Now, don't quote me, I'm not a scientist or a doctor or anything, but I just know that when you're not doing well, you're not doing well, and it shows in other parts of your life. So what does negative self-talk look like? Well, it comes in many forms, okay? It could come by way of something called filtering, which is basically where no matter what happens in your day, good or bad, you could have a million different great things that happen, okay, but you basically just focus on the worst things, okay? Essentially filtering out the good and leaving the bad. That's what filtering is. There's also something called magnification, okay? And what that is when you take little problems and little issues that tend to be a little bit negative and you blow them up and you blow them out of big proportion, you know what I mean? These type of habits, these type of things, again, you may not be aware of them, but it's very important that you identify them carefully, because now you can begin to diagnose and say, you know what, yeah, I'm the one who's really contributing to my own negative detriment, okay? So identify negative self-talk. Again, it comes in different forms. You can go ahead and read a lot of different articles that are out there. There's a lot of good information out there. Just go ahead and Google negative self-talk, but you're going to find the different forms that it exists in. And this is a great place to start. Weed out the negative self-talk, and that way we can move on to being positive. Number 2, focus on positive thinking. Okay, focus on positive thinking. All right, now this is where the rubber meets the road, right? Okay, Jason, I know you said you're not a power of positive thinking guy, but now you're telling me to focus on positive thinking. Yeah, that's exactly right. I want you to be positive. Again, you might as well be positive instead of negative. And so think positively. And there's ways that can get you in this mode that can cause you to be more positive than negative. For instance, you are who you hang around, right? I know you've heard that before, maybe in a different context, but it's so true. Who surrounds you? I question that, and I challenge you to question that about yourself. Who do you spend most of your time with? Are they a bunch of Debbie Downers? Are they a bunch of rotten optimists? You know what I'm saying? And, when you're in business, you want to keep a team around you. You want to have some people around you who are honest people, right? So you want to make sure that, I don't always look for yes men either, right? And when I got people around me and I ask them questions, especially when it comes to advice and resources and things like that, I want them to give me an honest answer. I don't want them to agree with every little thing I said. But you got to realize that there's a fine line and a big difference between honesty and just negative mentality, okay? You don't want to be around a bunch of negative people. You don't want to be around a bunch of whiners, okay? You can have an honest person around you who is not negative, right? Even if they're talking about giving you an honest answer and saying, yeah, I don't think you should do this, they do it in a way that is still positive. Or at least they do it in a way that is not super negative, that does not seem like they're whining or complaining. You want to get around those type of people. And there are several other things you can do to help foster a positive thinking mindset. For instance, doing the things that you enjoy, right? Making sure that you have a good ambiance around you, your setup, the way that your office is set up, you know, the way that you go about your day. Instead of going up the elevator, you know, when you're going up, maybe you take a walk upstairs so you can get your heart moving, right? Maybe you can go ahead and find a way to get more exercise and incorporate more exercise into the things that you're doing. When you're taking a break, rather than just looking at your cell phone and checking your social media, why not walk outside and experience the sunshine? You know, there's so many little things you can do here that will help you foster a positive thinking mindset. And so I encourage you to go ahead and start looking at some of these things and really just change how you view the world, okay? That has a lot to do with your positive thinking. So for instance, instead of saying certain things, say other things in their place, okay, when you're trying to figure out things for yourself. For instance, instead of saying, I can't afford that, maybe you should start to say, how can I afford that? You know, and then maybe you don't come up with the answer immediately, but at least it opens your mind to something positive, to where you are figuring out how to get somewhere. You know, oftentimes we've heard that necessity is the mother of all invention or innovation. And this is, I believe, where that comes from. You know, instead of saying, you know, I'm just used to doing it this way and my way or the highway, why don't you consider saying, you know what, let's go ahead and try something different. Everything you're doing when you're talking that way is moving towards something positive. And even if you find something that doesn't work for you, at least you have opened up yourself to the possibility of positivity, okay? So take that how you will, but I'm telling you, there's ways that you can think positive, so start thinking positive. Number 3, and finally, practice makes permanent. Practice makes permanent, okay? In other words, keep doing this, right? Keep doing it and doing it and doing it again, okay? This is not one of those things where you can just expect to change overnight, right? Theoretically you could, but I just don't see that happening. If you're the type who's been prone to negative thinking and having a negative outlook your whole life, or at least, you know, for some significant amount of time, then I definitely don't expect you to turn into an optimist overnight. Okay, it just doesn't work. So get in the habit of making habits out of these things that we've been talking about, you know? Consistently go to that place where you're actively weeding out negative self-talk and you're actively trying to build more positivity for yourself by way of your atmosphere that causes you to think more positive, and continue to do it and do it and do it and do it as you go on, as you continue. And I promise, before you know it, you'll have people start calling you an optimist, right? Or you'll find more people start to say, hey, why are you so happy? Or I notice you've been doing well. And it's a very cool and interesting dynamic, you know? Whether you want to be labeled an optimist or not, you definitely feel good when someone recognizes that you're happy, that you're positive, because guess what? It helps them become positive too. And who doesn't want to be in an environment where you're spreading positivity and everybody is happy, okay? So there you have it, my friends. These are 3 simple ways to help you develop a positive mindset, and I trust it was helpful. Now, if you hadn't had a chance yet, go ahead and click on the link below in the description box. It's the first link there, and it takes you to the Digital Freedom Jumpstart, which is my home course, and it's the greatest course ever that shows you exactly how you can launch your own wildly profitable online business practically overnight, even if you have no experience and haven't done this before ever, okay? Now make sure you check that out, and I promise you won't be sorry. Now give me a like, a comment, a subscribe, okay? That's the most important thing. Also hit the notification bell, and that way you don't miss out on any more hot new content that I got coming down the pipe just for you. This is Jason Ligo with Always Enterprise, and I'll see you later. Take care.